Lessons from Operation Sindoor's global outreach. The aftermath of the April 22 Pahalgam terror attack, and India's resolute response through Operation Sindoor, presented a critical juncture for our nation's foreign policy. While the immediate military action was decisive, the subsequent diplomatic outreach was equally, if not more, vital in shaping global perceptions and consolidating international support. Leading one of the 7 all-party parliamentary delegations to 5 countries in the Western Hemisphere, Guyana, Panama, Colombia, Brazil and the United States, offered me a unique vantage point to reflect on the lessons learned from this intensive period of public diplomacy. Unity behind a strong voice. One of the most striking takeaways is the power of national unity in projecting a strong foreign policy voice. The very composition of our delegations, featuring members of parliament, MPs, from diverse political parties, different states and varied faiths, was a potent message in itself. It underscored that when it comes to national security and confronting terrorism, India speaks with one voice. This transcended domestic political differences, imbuing our message with greater credibility and gravitas in the eyes of our international interlocutors. Whether engaging with the President of Guyana or the US Vice President, the collective resolve of India, represented by its varied political spectrum, resonated deeply. Our primary objective was to provide clarity on Operation Sindoor, its rationale, the targeted nature of India's initial strikes against terrorist infrastructure, its calibrated and measured nature, and its avoidance of any harm to civilians and even to Pakistani military facilities. We meticulously explained that India's actions were a legitimate exercise of self-defense, a necessary response to persistent cross-border terrorism. The success of this narrative was evident in the shift witnessed in several capitals. For instance, Colombia's retraction of its initial statement expressing condolences for supposed civilian casualties in Pakistan and its subsequent reaffirmation of support for India's sovereign right to self-defense was a significant diplomatic victory, directly attributable to our detailed and persuasive engagements. This demonstrated that facts, patiently and persistently presented, can overcome initial misunderstandings or even deliberate misinformation. A parallel, and equally crucial, aspect of our outreach was to underscore Pakistan's continued links to terrorism. We consistently highlighted the severity of the threat emanating from across our borders, aiming to build global consensus on holding perpetrators accountable. The engagements in Washington, D.C. were particularly illuminating in this regard. Even as a Pakistani delegation was simultaneously present, we found U.S. representatives, including those who met the Pakistani officials, echoing our concerns and urging decisive action against terror groups such as the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. This confirmed that our arguments, grounded in verifiable facts and consistent advocacy, were cutting through the noise and reinforcing the legitimacy of India's position. Beyond the immediate crisis management, the tour served as a powerful reminder of the enduring relevance of soft power diplomacy. The very name Operation Sindoor proved evocative, its cultural resonance helping to explain the depth of the outrage and the resolve it represented. From the widespread embrace of yoga to the global appeal of Bollywood, India's traditions offer a unique pathway to connecting with diverse audiences. It is a compelling reminder that our cultural heritage is not merely for domestic consumption, it is a powerful tool in our diplomatic toolkit, capable of evoking interest and fostering understanding far beyond geopolitical considerations. The T's and Indian strategy. Tradition is one of the 3 T's that I believe should drive India's future global strategy. Tech, trade, and tradition all go together in promoting the new India to the world. While India's prowess in IT services is well established, the next frontier lies in technological products and innovation in the age of artificial intelligence. Our diplomatic efforts must actively promote Indian technological breakthroughs and foster collaborative innovation with international partners. This is not just about economic growth, it is about showcasing India as a source of solutions and ingenuity, a nation that contributes meaningfully to global progress. Similarly, trade remains vital to our economic development and global standing. In an increasingly competitive world, particularly in comparison to China, India must proactively expand its trade volumes and diversify its trade basket. Diplomatic outreach must therefore seamlessly blend security concerns with economic opportunities, creating mutually beneficial partnerships. One of my key messages was that India is focused on its growth and development and considers terrorism and war an avoidable distraction. All we want from Pakistan is to be left alone to serve our people. But if they hit us, we will hit back. We are determined to make them pay a price for each assault. Equally, if they desist, we have no desire for conflict. Peace is what allows us to prosper. The tour also brought to the fore the importance of proactive and consistent public diplomacy. Every country we went to welcomed our visit and urged India to send its MPs more often. In addition to public representatives, lawmakers and government leaders, we spoke extensively with think tankers, influential policy shapers and national media. The media coverage we garnered, and the quality of the dialogue with foreign policy experts, demonstrated the appetite for India's perspective. This underscores the critical need for intensive engagement with Western and mainstream media. A narrative vacuum is easily filled by misinformation, and our consistent presence in global media landscapes is essential to counter false narratives and ensure our story is told accurately and persuasively. This is something we could do better. Furthermore, the visits to countries such as Panama and Guyana, both current non-permanent members of the UN Security Council, UNSC, alongside Colombia, which anticipates a UNSC tenure in 2026, highlighted the strategic imperative of nurturing relationships with a broad spectrum of nations. Panama's explicit support for India's candidature for a permanent seat on the UNSC, articulated by Foreign Minister Javier Martinez-Aca, is a testament to the value of direct engagement and the cultivation of long-term diplomatic ties. These are the partners who can amplify India's voice on crucial global platforms. Guiding principles. Looking ahead, several actionable recommendations emerge from this experience. We must continue to elevate diplomatic outreach in South and Central America, including reciprocal VIP visits and augmenting the diplomatic strength of our missions with greater language proficiency. At the multilateral level, the External Affairs Minister should consider engaging with the UN Secretary-General and UN General Assembly President to specifically address the terrorism issue, ensuring comprehensive briefings to UN representatives and engaging directly even with the skeptics among the UN press corps. Strengthening ties with Brazil, particularly through the Prime Minister's participation in the upcoming BRICS summit and a state visit, remains a high priority given President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva's emphasis on the importance he attaches to his relationship with India. And, crucially, India must ramp up its engagements in Guyana to safeguard India's strategic interests in its newly discovered oil resources and burgeoning infrastructure sector. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's energy, dynamism and willingness to engage remains a prime asset for India on the global stage, but deserves greater backing. The diplomatic outreach following Operation Sindoor was a moment of national resolve and effective communication. It affirmed that India, when united, can project its voice with clarity and conviction on international platforms. The lessons learned, the power of unity, the efficacy of clear communication, the strategic value of soft power, and the imperative of sustained public diplomacy, will undoubtedly serve as guiding principles as India navigates an increasingly complex international landscape, leveraging its 3 Ts and always striving for a more just, secure, and prosperous world.